It's really a pleasure to be able to be in front of you today. A couple things. Definitely grab a pen and paper. You may want to jot down a couple notes. But I would also like to say that you will be able to get this presentation. This presentation is also a guidebook for elevator pitch fundamentals. So for those of you out there that have experienced doing presentations, you might notice that it might be a little wordy, and that is intent. That's a disclosure I'd like to add to that. So it is a little wordy, but again, it's going to be a presentation and guide for you. Hopefully I won't have get knocked out due to internet. It's still raining and thundering and lightning a little bit, so excuse the noise if you hear anything. Again, my name is Vikki Hawthorn. I'm a procurement counselor with the Procurement Technical Assistance Center, also known as PTAC. PTACs provide one-on-one counseling with companies who are interested to sell their product or service to the government marketplace, and that includes state, local, and federal agencies. PTACs are located all across the country, and we help beginners in contracting and seasoned government contracting folks. And our services are free. Thank you for taking the time to learn elevator pitch fundamentals. And if you want to know additional information on PTAC services and events at no cost, go to ptac.ohio.edu. That's it. That's the elevator pitch. It's also known as a elevator speech, and it's an opportunity to share a quick summary of yourself, your company or product offerings, and it can also help your audience. And it also should include a call to action from you in moving forward. It should be no longer than 30 to 60 seconds in length, or approximately 25 words. And they say typically it's enough to be no longer than an elevator ride. Now, why have an elevator speech? Really, when you think about it, it takes planning to make a good first impression. And first impressions are typically based on a few words. Sometimes a few words is the only chance you need to have in front of a decision maker, the government contracting official or representative or prime contractor. Small business owners often say that the decision makers are in a hurry and want vendors to get to the right point. Based on my experience with the Department of Defense, being a civil servant, and with the Chambers of Commerce, yes, it's effective for you to be right quick and to the point, because we are in a hurry to get to the next issue, to put out the next fire. Similarly, government buyers report that they are kind of leery of dealing with ill-prepared vendors. That gives that government buyer an indication that, hey, if they're having issues with communicating their offering, what are they going to do in order to supply to the government? But you might say, I have, so much to say, how do I fit it all? And the converse of that is, hey, I don't know what to say. I don't have enough to say. We're going to help you with that. You first need to focus your impact. You've got to know your audience. With these government agencies, they have websites, they have mission statements. Read about their vision, read about their vision statement. Read about some of these government agencies even have strategic plans. You want to look at news articles, press releases about the agency. You want to see what type of contracts they may have awarded in the past. And you also want to know, hey, is there a forecast of what opportunities are offered in the future that I may be able to provide as a company? You need to know who you are talking to. You need to focus your impact. You need to communicate that you have done your homework. PTACs can help you with that. We get involved in market research. So if you need help in kind of navigating where to go to investigate your potential audience, definitely reach out to the PTAC. With that said, you also need to identify your goal. What is your unique selling proposition? I usually call this a unique differentiator. And how will it benefit that agency? You've got to think about the mission. You've got to think about how can your product or service support the agency or maximize the efficiency of meeting that agency's mission. You need to have a clear understanding of what you want to accomplish. What is your goal? You could have multiple goals. You need to rotate your elevator pitch based on different audiences. And then you need to have one clear goal per pitch. Provide a quick summary of yourself, your business, and offering. Be brief but to the point. It could be as simple as stating your name and who you work for, if those details apply. Don't give an entire history lesson or dissertation on your business. That is a no-no. And only provide the most relevant details. Important piece here. Put a little asterisk by it if you're making notes. And I've kind of mentioned this earlier. How can you help that business, that entity that you're providing your elevator pitch to? Identify what makes you or your organization or your ideal unique. You'll want to communicate your unique selling proposition after you've talked about what you do. Again, your unique selling proposition, there's a lot of terminology for it. A key differentiator. What is your selling proposition? You want to think about what characteristics that your customers have and kind of match yourself up with the characteristics they have and kind of rank yourself. Rank yourself between your competitors. And then you will be able to identify your ranking, whether you rank well or not so well. Let's just put it that way. But you need to really make sure you communicate how that differentiator will benefit your audience. Then the last thing you want to mention is your call to action. You want to end with a question, and maybe that may create some dialogue between you and your audience. You want to think about what made you want to pitch them in the first place and use that to end the conversation. And don't forget to swap contact information, such as a business card if you don't already have it, or a sales sheet, capability statement. This is a template. And if you've when I first did the elevator pitch, it followed these areas. And this is an online template for you to use. Introduction, your company, the solution, your company, whether it's a product or service, and what value are you adding? How do you stand apart from your competitors? How can you assist the mission? And then your call to action, whether it's a follow-on visit, whether it's an opportunity to tell them and ask about feedback on potential opportunities, or who would be the person to contact if they're not the designated person. And you also need to make sure you add your personality, your personal touch. You want to make sure that you don't oversell. It's not necessary to oversell. And you need to sound convincing, but you also want to make sure that you're ensuring trust, engagement, and integrity. And you want to make sure you're not hesitant. You want to just, change your posture, if it's, just straighten up and just provide that statement with no apologies. And if you go to try to explain certain areas of that pitch, it may dilute your message rather than strengthen it. And, be happy, smile, let people know that you're confident. Let them know that you believe in what you're doing and believe in how you can support that mission or vision. You also want to make sure you make eye contact. That is very important. Make eye contact because you will have just a brief time to make that connection. And you want to really look for cues. I mean, it doesn't happen. This won't happen overnight, not unless it's a gift. And some folks do have that gift, but just be comfortable with starting where you are. Don't compare yourself to others. Just make sure that you can prepare and be better based on what you can bring to the table. Know how to stop. Don't keep going on and on. Adding more information dilutes the impact. And you want to leave space for a response. Don't want to keep talking, kind of pick up on some cues to make sure that you can target that, when to start, stop, or generate a question. Things to avoid. Don't speak too fast. Avoid rambling. And I can say, I'm a rambler and I need a script. So I have found that it's easier for me to write it out, whatever it is, and then practice that to make sure you stay on target. You don't want to frown, no monotone, and don't restrict yourself to a single elevator pitch. There'll be multiple elevator pitches, but you can have a baseline and alternate that based on who you're going to be in contact with. Okay, your next steps would be, once you kind of get that ingrained in your head, you'll want to write a paragraph that addresses each of these elements: introduction, your company, the solution your product or service would provide, and what stands you apart. Why should that agency or company or individual use that product and or service? How do you stand apart from your competitors? Things of that nature. And again, PTAC can help you kind of fine tune that based on research. And the last part of that elevator pitch is a call to action. You want to definitely practice saying it in front of the mirror, or a loved one, or just, say it out loud or to a colleague to make sure it's smooth from memory, 30, 60 seconds or less. Once you have this mastered, you'll have the elevator pitch. Again, my name is Vikki Hawthorn. I'm with the Procurement Technical Assistance Center, also known as PTAC. PTAC's primary responsibility is one-on-one counseling with companies that want to sell their product to the government agencies. PTACs are located all across the country, and we help entrepreneurs who are new or seasoned to government contracting, and all our services are at no cost. Would you have some time available over the next few weeks for a meeting? Points to remember: focus on impact, rotate the focus, make it relevant to your audience, believe it, be confident, pull your full weight behind it. Sound and look happy at what you do. Look at your listeners. Know when to use it and not to use it. Know how to stop. and leave space for response. Practice, practice, practice. And I came across this quote. You could relate it to this or life or business, but it just kind of caught my eye. Entrepreneurship is neither a science nor an art. It's a practice. Peter Drucker, that name may be familiar. I do want to kind of talk a little bit about the Procurement Technical Assistance Center. We can help you with your elevator pitch. We can help you with capability statements. We can help with market research certifications. There are a lot of resource partners in addition to the Procurement Technical Assistance Centers that are here for small businesses, also businesses underrepresented and in underserved communities. So definitely reach out. We also offer bid match services, capability statements. I also mentioned that. Certifications. It's really important. And I can't say one is more important than the other, but when it goes to market research to see who you're targeting to do business with, it's really important to do your homework. And you need another set of eyes and ears, especially in the space of government contracting, when you're responding to those proposals, those sources sought notices that are posted publicly. When they're posted publicly, they're looking for additional sources. So when you prepare that document to submit, PTAC should be a start and a finish before you hit that submit button to that agency or prime contractor. And again, these services are free. Definitely take advantage. And actually, give you a little example, last week, several clients had sources sought notices, market survey notices that were due last week. A couple even preparing for responding to requests for quotations, RFQs. Reviewed about 5 or 6 last week. So definitely take advantage of that free service before hitting the button. And even before you hit, if you're considering socioeconomic certifications, definitely reach out to your resources before you hit that submit button. Now, time for questions, but I do want to mention, if you're not already a PTAC client, if you're located in Ohio, you would just go to ptac.ohio.edu, and then you would submit a registration form, and a PTAC counselor located in your county area will reach out. I handle the Franklin County, so I'm it. I would help you if you're interested and live in the Franklin County area. If you're located outside of Ohio, that last website address will provide you a map of the United States, and you would click on the appropriate state to establish a contact there. Hopefully you learned a little bit today. Be at ease. You'll need some thought to come up with an elevator pitch, at least for your baseline. But I guarantee it's not too hard, and you just need to practice. And we're here to help. Thank you.